Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And I have a special guest here, a young lady from Bowie State University. Her name is Heather Langdon. Now, has a master's and she's working on a PhD equivalent for computer science. And the other thing is she's a former place kicker for the Suitland, Maryland high school football team. Now, better hold on here. Tell me, how did you get involved in football?
Well, it was a long time ago.
Long time ago?
I'm old now. I was always into sports. I played soccer as I grew up from about age 5. Got to high school, I started running track. And I ran cross country, which is the same.
You ran track and cross country, and you ran the 800 and the 1600.
I ran the 800, I ran the 1600, I ran the 2 mile also, 3200.
Wow. Tell us about your family and everything. Environment like that, is very special, because what we have here is a young lady, Prince George's from Bowie State, and the family has really made a terrific contribution. There are 4 young ladies in the family, and all of them are involved in higher education. Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I have 3 sisters. One of my sisters and I are still working towards our
Now, you got to
degree.
give your sister's name now. Like I told you off camera, if you don't give their name, you're in deep trouble.
Tamesa she's working on her master's. I have twin sisters, Yvonne and Yvette, who
Twins. Oh, wow.
And they both actually already have their PhD. They just got it pretty recently. One in psychology, Yvonne in psychology, and Yvette in biology.
Wow, you're talking about education. Woo, loaded. Okay. Yep. Well, tell us a little bit about your involvement in football. You know, the young man that told me about you, I couldn't believe it. He said, yeah, she plays football. She's working on a PhD or something on computer science. I said, what? Now, tell us, what was it that made you want to play football?
Well, I've always liked football. I've always liked sports in general. Like I said, I used to play soccer. So when I saw...
So you didn't like tiddlywinks when you were a little girl. You like football and basketball. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. And I like dirt and mud and all that
You like
stuff.
dirt and mud?
Yes. So Coach Lynch, actually, he passed away.
That was at
recently.
Suitland High School.
Yes, Suitland High School.
All right.
Coach Nick Lynch gave me a chance because I told him that I could kick better than the people that he was trying out for the position of kicker.
You went right up and told him after the guy missed a 10-yard field goal.
Yes, I did.
I could do better than that.
Yes, I did. I told him I had never kicked a football in my life, but I told him I'm pretty sure I can do better than that. So he asked me to try. So I put my track shoes back on, didn't have cleats at the time, and he told me briefly what to do. So I missed the first couple, but they were, far enough and high enough. So the next ones, I made them. I kept making them.
What is your longest field goal? We make a year contract with Redskins. I mean, they need help.
My longest field goal, it wasn't in a game, but I've kicked a 43-yard field goal before.
43? Oh, great. I mean, did you practice, or did you just went out there and start kicking? In other words, you're a natural kicker.
I was. All those years of soccer paid off for that because
I see. Soccer was the thing.
Yes, because basically you kick a field goal soccer style. Most people do soccer style field goal kicks.
Right.
So I pretty much already had that down. I just had to get used to a different shape of the ball and make sure I can get it through the uprights.
Well, what about this going into a major male area like football? You must have taking a lot of razzing from both the guys and the girls?
Actually, everybody was really happy with the situation. Everybody was excited about it. My friends were really happy for me. The whole football team was actually happy.
Is that right?
Minus maybe one where he didn't get the position.
They
But
get the position.
yes,
Right.
but overall, the whole team, really accepted me, and we had a good time. We had a good time, and Coach Lynch was I was very happy that he gave me the opportunity in the
what
first
about
place.
Coach Lynch? Now, he must have been a special guy.
He really
because
was.
Because he, to give you an opportunity like that, most of them would say, hey, he's a girl or whatever.
Yes, yes.
So I don't want to, she make me look bad.
Yeah.
So how did he smooth that over?
I think he just really didn't care what people would think, to be honest, because he saw that I had the talent to do it. He didn't have the talent from somewhere else, so
Right.
I guess he chose to go with me.
Because he didn't have a field goal kicker.
He did not have a field goal kicker, and he didn't really have any good prospects either.
Oh,
So
I see. So then you was his last hope.
and actually, I think the season was already one game in when it all happened, and I ended up kicking the next game that weekend, and I actually had little league shoulder pads because I was too small back then.
You had what kind?
Little league. I didn't have
shoulder pads.
Yes,
Well, tell me this: did you ever think about being hit?
yes, I actually got hit before.
You got hit?
I did get hit.
Where was Mom's?
In the stands.
Did she come out in the stands?
Nope, she sat right there.
Well, I'll tell you what happened with my brother and I. We were playing up in Philadelphia there at West Philadelphia High School. And my brother, my mother, she enjoyed the sports. My father was a baseball player. In fact, he played with the Memphis Red Sox. But my brother was a running back. I was a defensive back. And the guy, my brother, quarterback, handed the ball off to him, and the guy jacked my brother up, stood him up, spin him around in the hole. One of them, then it wasn't 300-pound tackles. They were about 250 or something like that, And the brother was about 170. But anyway, my mother jumped out the stands. Say, hit my baby like that, hit Junior like that. And she went out on the field with how a woman with a pocketbook, she went out on the field. My father, he looked, and he was, Josephine, come back. You can't go out on the field. She said, Brown, take me home. I don't want to see another football game. And she didn't. She loved basketball. She'd come to the games, you know what I mean? But that football, when my brother got jacked up and she ran out on the field, she said, and she couldn't drive, see, so she had to depend on father. And she said, take me home. I don't want to see another football game. So, I mean, your parents didn't reflect, when you got hit?
They were good. I asked my father what she did that later on that day. I asked him. And
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I want to know, what your mother did.
And he said the only thing she did, they sat up there quietly, and the only thing she did was just look at him like.
I told you not to let her play. That's what she was saying with her eyes.
Pretty much. But, I think it was okay because I wasn't hurt. The wind got knocked out of me a little bit, but I jumped up and went back over to the sideline, so it was okay.
Great. Now, what about the track, the 800 and 1600? Did you participate just in this area? Did you go to some meets?
We went to some meets. Oh gosh, it's been so long now. But we did go to some meets outside of the area. We went to George Mason a couple times. I was indoor. Summer track was more of the traveling time.
Well, which of the sports you enjoyed the most, the football or the track?
It's hard to say. They're so different. Track I enjoyed because I got a satisfaction out of, finishing a race, especially a long race where, you actually feel like you did, and you always want to beat your personal best.
Yes.
So I got a satisfaction out of that. But football, of course, you get a lot of attention with that. And then also it was fun to be part of the team and actually be, you know, relied on to get that extra point after the touchdown.
Well, did you practice with your sisters? You had 3 sisters, and you were the baby, or did they use you as the football?
By that time, they were already out of the house. They're the twins are 7 years older than me, so
they weren't around, huh?
Right? They weren't around.
They weren't around to encourage you or discourage,
right? Right. But they encoured me.
Are you crazy?
Everybody encouraged me, though. Yeah. Everybody was.
So then now you played skate one year.
2 years.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So how many bids did you get from for scholarship football?
You know,
that's a big deal now. You know, if you play skate, you make some money.
I did not get any scholarship offers through that. Basically,
through the football.
Through the football, I didn't do that many actual field goals on the field. I think most teams in PG County tend to just go for the 4th and whatever instead of kicking field goals.
Instead of kicking.
Yeah, sometimes I did have a few.
That was the coaches.
Yeah. So, and I know a lot of schools.
If 4th and 19, you still.
Especially if it's too far back, I mean, or punt, you know.
Right.
But there weren't that many times where we did a 4th and field goal. So I was pretty much, I did the point afters. But I didn't have that many field goal opportunities in the games. So, you know, and of course colleges, they look for the field goal. They want to see how long you can kick. And,
right.
You know.
That's the first thing, you know. That's what they want. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to take a break here and then come back and tell about your academics, which is terrific. And we should feel very proud, young people here in Prince George County are really producing. And Heather's on the show here, you know, because I think the young people need to see what the positiveness of the young people here in Prince George County. Off camera, I was asking her, how does she deal, you know, as a football player, how does she deal with the locker room stuff? Say, come on, Heather, tell her. I mean, you know, peer pressure is one of the toughest things that you can go through. Then you had to go through that, and then you had to deal with your peers, you know. Hey, look, what is this all about? How do you handle it?
I mean, you just have to not succumb to a lot of the pressures of doing different things. You just have to stay true to yourself. It sounds corny, but
the coach took care of that locker room.
The coach, the locker room. There wasn't any peer pressure associated with that. I had home games. I had the girls' locker room, and I had to get out by the time the other team came in because, you know, the visiting team
used the girls
has the girls' locker room. So I get dressed, and then I'm ready before all the guys, and then, you know, when everyone's decent in the guys' locker room, I go in there.
I see.
In away games, I usually go to the athletic director's office and then meet up with my team once again when they're all dressed and ready.
Now, okay, let's get into the academics. Your undergrad worked at Bowie State University. Tell us about that.
Well, actually,
how did you decide to major in computer science?
Well, actually, my undergraduate, I went to St. Mary's College of Maryland.
St. Mary's?
Yes.
Okay.
Down past Waldorf, a small school in St. Mary's County.
Right.
And I majored in math. So it was very different from Suitland High School. However, it's right on the water. It was a very good choice.
You know anything about pi r squared or something like that? Huh?
I know a little something about pi r squared. I know a little something.
Okay. I was just checking you math names. What's going on? But anyway, tell us about that, your drive to advance degree. Some of the young people need to know that what it takes, you know, the peer pressure is still there to, I mean, you set a goal and you were able to, you're working on it, finishing it up, but you were able to attain your degree. Now tell us something about the computer science aspects of it and the advanced degree that you're working on now, the master's in and they call it physical science.
Doctorate of Science in Computer Science. It's
Doctor
a
of
DSC.
Science and Computer Science. Tell us about that. You can start at the beginning. It's your show.
It's my show. Okay. Well, coming from the math background at St. Mary's College made it a little easier to transition to computer science because a lot of things in computer science are very logical, very algorithmic thing. You know, it's very helpful to have a good math background. So going into Bowie State, I took 2 years in the middle to kind of decide what I wanted to do. I wasn't really sure.
Is that a good idea? I've been repeating that all the time. Is that
to take time in between?
Right, and also with the 2 years, you know, the community colleges. So when you don't know really what you want to do, because most of us, they get in the first year, you know, well, I think I want this, and then they change over. They run into calculus or something. They say, wait, no, I don't think I want to go into sciences. I think I go to political science. There's no calculus in political science. Just how do you handle that?
For myself, I think that the 2 years was very good. I was still young. I graduated college when I was 20. So I kind of wanted to, I guess, find myself a little bit. Just
so
kind of
took
be
that
on
time.
Yeah, I took that time. I was on my own. I moved out from my parents' house.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, wow.
I moved out. I was.
That's a step.
I sure did. I graduated in May. I was looking at apartments in January.
Great.
But I did. I moved out, you know, so I got the taste of actually living, paying all my own bills, you know, doing all that stuff first.
Now, the youngsters need to hear that because a lot of them still at home at 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the idea of facing reality, I think that was the thing that helped you to mature.
It did.
And help you to move.
It did.
When you have somebody taking care of you, all the little things in your life.
You don't even realize all the things that they do. You really don't.
Needs to be done.
Exactly.
Right.
You
so
really
that's
don't.
why I have you on the show, because you're an excellent example. I didn't know that earlier, you know, that you had moved out. I thought you were still under the umbrella of parents.
No. I've had 2 apartments and now I actually own a townhouse. So.
Great. In other words, you plan these things.
I did.
And this is what young people have to do. They have to understand. They have to plan. They can't just decide to do things. They got to plan ahead, and then they got to stay on course.
Definitely.
And so you got to have perseverance to stay on course. Cause you have peers. Let's go clubbing. Let's do this. Let's do that. You know, oh, you're a square. I remember when I was going through school.
I'm probably a square now.
Well, that's my brother and I. You know, we drank and smoke, and they say, "Hey, come to the Square Brothers, Square Brown Brothers." That's what they called us. We were in school at the same time. But you got to overcome those, and this is what a lot of young people don't understand, is that they have to get away from that peer pressure. Don't worry about what your friends are doing. You set your own goals.
That is very
and whatever
true.
it takes, you make the sacrifice to be successful. And I think this is what I'm trying to point by having you on the show. Let the people know it's a lot of positive young people out there that are doing positive things, you know, as far as making a contribution to society. You know, because you all generally have a negative, you know, if young, well, you know, they wild, you know, that type of thing. But what you're doing is just excellent. I like to congratulate you on that. And basically, what about, are you going to tell us a little bit about this research for this PhD? I call it PhD. You call it the science.
It's basically it's
Doctor of Science,
in computer science. So it's a similar, you know, idea. Basically, it's still a doctoral degree.
Now, with that doctorate, you have to write a thesis, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is that going to be about?
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah,
This is my second.
You didn't expect that question, but you handled it fine.
I'm not sure yet. This will be I just finished my second year, so this will be my first semester of my third year. So I'm not sure yet.
You haven't decided.
I haven't decided yet.
Well, what about a suggestion on the lines of preparation for that advanced degree? Because then you can utilize some of the things that you had to go through, some of the mistakes that you made.
Definitely, I made mistakes.
Right, and that would be subject matter you can think about. You know?
Yeah, I basically every level of my schooling, I worked harder. When I was in high school, I could have worked harder and done better. I wish I could do it all over again, to be honest. And I think a lot of people
you would
say
change
that.
a lot of things. All of us would.
I would do a lot. I would start at 9th grade and just start all over again.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that point. A lot of students don't realize is that once you get the basics, you know what I mean? That's just as important as going to the end, because you set different standards and you set up a system for a successful achievement. And you know the things that you've done when you were in 8th, 9th grade. Hey, you can't do that in college.
Right.
And hey, and what you did in college, you can't do that in grad school.
Can't.
And you don't have that crutch. Generally, with the advanced degree, there's personality is involved. You got to come up with something, different. Isn't that right?
Yes. I mean, it's all about actually putting in the time and working hard, though, really. I mean, like I said, the level of intensity of my own intensity went up every step of the way, but the level of intensity that you need goes up also. I mean, college is harder than high school. Graduate school is harder than college. So you really just have to put in that time and like you said, I mean, the partying and that stuff, not to say you can't ever do it, but that's not going to be the rest of your life.
No, right.
So to prepare for that.
And also the friends. The friends. Yeah, the friends. The friends, they fall off, when you go in a certain direction. There's certain friends you won't see anymore.
That is very true. Very true.
You know what I mean? Where they were, we went to elementary school together, we did this, and then all of a sudden Susie or Mac or whoever it is, you go off on the direction you've set and planned what you want to do. You find out that Mary don't want to do that. So you don't have anything in common.
You're right.
So you don't see Mary anymore as much as you used to see, although she was a childhood friend. I've had that happen, a childhood friend. I mean, it was a nice person, all of that, but we had different goals.
You grow apart. You go in different directions, yeah.
Right. And sometimes that's difficult for a young person to do that. They've developed a friendship, and they have certain people that they've known period of time, but their goals are different. But it's difficult for them to pull away from that. What do you think?
It's probably, you mean a friend that's kind of going to hold you back a little bit? Or?
Yeah, right. It's not going in the same direction where you're going. And the things that they are doing or want to do, you don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you want to maintain the friendship, but you still, don't like the route that they're taking.
I think in that case, you can still try to maintain somewhat of, a friendship and acquaintance even. But if you're really going in two different directions, then you're pretty much going to find yourself not being around that person as much if you really want to go in a different direction.
Right.
So
developing new friends. There's nothing wrong with that. That's people that you have something in common in. And that's what
and working on the same goals.
Yeah, I think that's one thing youngsters need to do too, is associate themselves with people that have similar goals. Yeah.
That definitely helps.
Yeah.
I have
right.
friends, we do homework together.
Yeah, right.
You know, that really helps because you want to hang out with your friends
Yeah.
or boyfriend even, you know.
Yeah.
But you know you have your own responsibilities. So being able to kind of kill two birds with one stone, that helps too.
Yeah. Certainly.
Yeah.
So what would you say, a young person out there, if they're going to make a decision, just like you're into the computer science, you're in an environment with your dad and your mother and your sister, which is very positive, you know. But sometimes a youngster is not in that type of environment, and they want to get out of that. How do you think they should try to get that done?
I think
Going, you felt too also that being on your own, and I think that's one of the best things. But you learn by doing.
Yeah, I did. I sure did.
You know, when you pay the bill, you know, the electric bill,
I
the
sure
lights
did.
on, you know, they cost money.
I'll never.
Say, I'll go ahead and turn this off. You know, I'm not using this.
You know, I have a funny, quick thing. I'll never forget. You know, at home, living at home, you don't pay bills. You don't care. You let the water run. Leave the lights on. My parents used to always, especially my dad, always turn the light off. You're not going right back in there. Turn the light off.
Right.
They helped me move into my first apartment. So we're moving stuff in, and there was a light on. I think my father might have left it on for a second. I was like, think you can turn that light off? He just laughed and laughed and laughed.
He did a good job. That's all I can say. Because usually independence is one of the greatest teachers. You know, it's easy when someone else is footing the bill. You know, it's secondary. You know what I mean? When you know at the end of the month you're going to get a bill for the water, the lights.
You pay attention. You definitely do.
Your attention really changes.
Yes.
And it's just amazing. I like to congratulate you and your family for you know, the different things that you are working on and have achieved, because it's a good example of young people, what they can do, you know, because the young people generally have a bad reputation of being frivolous and, you know, and not planning. But the key, I think, is planning, in which you've done a good job in, and also your environment is in a planning environment. And what parents out there need to realize is that they have to set up an environment for the youngsters, you know what I mean? So they have a choice. They can see that everything is not peaches and cream and never will be. That's not true life. Although when you at home, you know what I mean, you don't have those responsibilities. But when you get out there on your own, the bear will kick you just as fast as they do anybody else. If you know.
Yep.
So now, and tell me, how would a youngster really get involved in making a selection as far as major? We went through that early, you know, and that seems to be always a problem.
Selecting their major?
Yeah. You can select it on money, say, well, I want to be a doctor because they get a lot of money, or I want to make some contribution to society, so I'm going to do this. Now, how do you think it should be done?
I think that you really have to think about yourself and what you really enjoy. Because if you're not really enjoying what you're doing, like you said, you want to go to school to be a doctor because you're going to make money, you might hate the whole process, and it just won't be fulfilling. I think that when I decided to be a math major, I had one teacher in high school, Mr. John, who basically changed everything, because I didn't know what I wanted to major in.
Right.
But he was my calculus teacher.
Yeah.
And he made me love it.
He make you love it,
He
right?
made me love it. So I knew
with
after that.
I want to thank Heather for being here and congratulate you and continue to do the positive things that young people, we don't give enough credit, but I think it's there. Okay, this has been Ed Brown. See you next time.